today we're talking all about self-love and self-worth, and I'm going to be sharing some tips that you can start implementing today to start improving in those areas. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Heather, and on this channel I talk all about faith-based dating and relationships, how to date with purpose, and prepare for a healthy and thriving marriage. So if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you are a returning subscriber, hello, and thank you so much for being here again today. And if you're also over on Instagram, be sure to follow me over there. And let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So I want to start off by saying that I think it's really important to learn how to cultivate your self-worth and know your value before you even start dating. Because the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you view yourself is going to play out in the relationships that you have, the type of men that you attract, and the way that you allow yourself to be treated. If you have a low self-worth and you don't know your value, then you're inevitably going to look for that love and worth in another person. And you're going to be more likely to put up with bad treatment and more likely to stay in relationships that are not good for you because you don't believe that there's better out there for you. So if this is an area that you're struggling in, then I highly recommend starting to implement these tips as soon as possible and really start working on this before you even get out there and start looking to date other people. And I'm speaking from experience. This is something that I struggled with my entire life. And it's something that I really had to work on before I was ready to date and before I met my husband. And this is the one area, other than my relationship with God, that significantly changed my dating life for good. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the first tip. So first is to take responsibility for your own life. Don't wait for someone else to swoop in and save the day or be your hero or come in and fix things. No matter where you come from, no matter what your past is, you can choose to let go of that and move forward right now today without waiting on anyone else to come in and change things for you. If you're not happy with where you are, then start taking the steps today to change that. Because the more you get caught up in the past and the more you get caught up in waiting around for someone else to come and solve your problems, the more unhappy you're going to be. And you're not going to love who you are because you're stuck in a past version of yourself, or you're stuck in your circumstances and you can't see past them. And I know some of us have far worse circumstances and far worse pasts than others, but it's never too late to start working towards changing your life for the better. Number two is to start changing your belief system, because you don't become what you want to become. You don't become what you're dreaming of. You become what you believe about yourself. And if you are constantly believing that you are no good, that you're never going to amount to anything, or that you're not enough, then your actions will follow those beliefs. There's a reason that the Bible talks about taking our thoughts captive, because a lot of self-worth and self-esteem issues start with our thoughts. They start with a negative thought life. And so you really have to think about what are you believing about yourself? What are you thinking about constantly? And start taking control of that area of your life. Literally picture yourself grabbing those beliefs or those thoughts out of the air into your hand and giving them to God, and replace them with what He says about you and what He believes about you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are enough. And you have a purpose. Number three is to learn from your mistakes. Instead of letting your mistakes own you and throw you off track or keep you stuck in the past, think about what you can learn from those mistakes and how you can grow from them. This is another step that I took that really and truly changed my life, and especially my love life, when I was able to stop beating myself up and beating myself down for all of the past mistakes I've made, and instead take the time to think about what can I learn from that mistake and how can I grow and move forward in freedom and wholeness. So instead of thinking about all of the things that you did wrong and all of the shame that you feel, think about what steps you can take to start moving forward. Number four is to spend daily time in God's Word. meditate on his word, meditate on the things that he says about you, meditate on the plans that he has for your life and the value that you have because of your identity in Christ. And allow that to fill you up instead of all of the things from the outside world and from society and from all of the comparison and different things that try to take hold of your heart and your mind. Because if your heart and your mind are filled up with his thoughts and his words, then it's going to be a lot harder for all of those outside things to come in and take hold. Number 5 is to practice daily gratitude. I actually used to keep a gratitude journal that my husband had bought for me when I was going through a really difficult time. And it really and truly made a difference. I know that that advice can sound really cliche, but it really and truly makes a difference if you do it correctly. And what I mean by doing it correctly is that you're really and truly taking the time to sit down and think about the things that you are truly grateful for. And instead of focusing on all of the things that are wrong with you and all of the things that are wrong with your life, you're looking at even the little things. Even if you can only think of one thing that day, just one thing that you're grateful for or one thing that you like about yourself, start there and write it down so that you can go back and look at it and reflect on it and see how far you come. Number 6 is don't avoid your feelings. Instead of pushing them down and suppressing them, allow yourself to feel your feelings and explore why it is that you feel that way. When we suppress our feelings and when we beat ourselves up over and over for feeling a certain way, it only contributes to feelings of low self-esteem and low self-worth. Instead, allow yourself to connect to your feelings, completely feel them, and then move forward from there. Don't let yourself stay in that place. Fully feel the feeling, explore why you feel that way, but then move on. And I think this is especially true when we are feeling depressed or when we've just gone through a breakup. It can be easy to try to push it aside and not think about it and not fully allow ourselves to feel the way that we are feeling because it hurts. But when we do that, we don't allow for true healing to come in and we allow tension to stay in our bodies. So I think it's really important to feel those feelings and process them in order to be able to move forward. Number 7 is to pursue your God-given purpose and passions. Recognize your gifts and talents and grow in them. And you may be saying, well, I don't have any gifts or talents, but every single person has some type of gift or talent that they are good at. You may not be great at it yet, but that could just be because you haven't explored it and allowed yourself to grow in it. Speak into your strengths. Think about the things that you have a natural inclination towards, the things that come naturally to you that you may be taking for granted, but that actually don't come naturally for other people. Because the more that you pursue your giftings and your talents and the things that God has placed within you, the more uplifted you will be and the more joy you will be able to experience. And the more joy you will be able to bring to other people because you can use those gifts to serve God and to serve others. So remember to live your life on purpose because your life matters. Number 8 is to take care of your body. Be cognizant of the things that you are eating and how much you are moving. There's again a reason that God said to treat our bodies as the temple of Christ, because the things that we eat and the things that we do affect everything else. They not only affect our physical health, but it's amazing how much they actually can affect our mental and emotional health as well. So think about the things that you are eating, whether they give you energy or whether they make you feel bad and down. Think about if there's ways that you can move a little bit more. I know for me right now, I'm not exercising as intensely as I normally would being in my 3rd trimester of my pregnancy, but I at least make sure that I get outside and walk for at least 30 minutes every day. And it has an enormous effect on my mood. And you only get one body. So the way that you treat it is going to affect how well it performs for the rest of your life. Number 9 is to speak life. Your words matter. The Bible talks about this over and over again, the weight of our words. And it's really important to think about your self-talk. How are you talking to yourself? Do you have a really negative self-talk? Are you constantly putting yourself down? If so, I would encourage you to start speaking to yourself like you would speak to someone who you love dearly, how you would speak to your best friend or your favorite family member. And I would hope that if it's someone you love dearly, you would speak to them in a way that is kind and that is loving and that is uplifting. So use that same kind of talk when you are talking to yourself every day. And when you catch yourself saying negative things over yourself, take hold of that and change it to something positive. How can you turn it around to something that you appreciate about yourself and something that you are grateful for? To give you an example from my own life, I really struggle with my body and the way I look when I'm pregnant. And I'll find myself saying some really ugly things to myself. And my husband will point it out as well when I do this. And so I try to, instead of thinking about how much weight I've gained or how bad I think I look in a certain outfit, I can turn that around and think about how amazing it is that I'm able to carry life and all of the amazing things that my body is capable of in this time, and how much more important that is than the way I look. Number 10 is to love yourself where you are. Don't wait until you reach a certain point, until you get to a certain goal, or until a certain thing happens in your life. Be gracious with yourself and your journey right where you are. Ask God to help you and teach you to love yourself right where you're at and to help you to view yourself as He views you. Number 11 is to let go of comparison. Comparison truly is the thief of joy, and it's so much more prevalent and difficult in the time that we live in with access to pretty much everyone's lives at all times. It's so easy to get caught up in comparison and to start getting down on ourselves because we don't look a certain way or we don't have certain things or we don't feel as put together as some of the images that we see on social media or wherever. And the thing is, everyone struggles with something. No one's life is perfect. And what you see online is usually curated and only part of the picture. So don't let that get in the way of your joy and living your purpose and living the life that God gave you. Instead, stay in your lane and focus on the path that God has for you as an individual. And believe me, I am speaking to myself as much as to you on this one. It's definitely a struggle for me as well, but it's so important. And it makes such a difference when we can let go of that comparison. So if you have to, take some time off from social media, do a little fast from it, and give yourself some time and space away from that for a season. And number 12 is to let go of toxic relationships. And I'm not just talking about dating relationships, but any toxic relationship. Whether it's friends, family, loved ones, it doesn't matter. If they are constantly bringing you down or putting you down, making you feel bad about yourself, then they don't deserve to be in your life, and it's not worth holding on to that relationship. Instead, surround yourself with people who are loving and uplifting and who see your value and your worth and who can point you to Christ and who can call out your gifts and your talents. Those are the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with and who are going to help you cultivate that self-love and that self-worth. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope that you found these tips helpful. And if you have any tips of your own to share or things that you do to work on your self-love and self-worth, then definitely leave that in the comments. And I also wanted to announce that I did just start a brand new private Facebook group just for this community where you can connect with like-minded women and a place to share and encourage, and also a place that I will be able to share more free resources and trainings with you guys. So be sure to check that out. I'll be linking it in the description box, and you can just click on that link and request to join, and I will be the person who personally lets you into the group. So I'm really excited about that and looking forward to connecting with you guys more. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.